Tell us about the strangest work experience.
I guess the strangest situations happen during the online meetings while we have the webcams on. Once there been a case when we had a pretty detailed conversation with the customer, and the project wasn't small. This was actually a project for a few months, and we were thinking about the ways on how to structure the project, on how to allocate all the necessary resources, what kind of tasks should be solved, what we can remove from the scope, what should we add, and etc. So this was a close conversation between the customer and us. And at some moment, for some reason, the customer decided that he just needs to eat something, and he was on a call in his kitchen, so he just turned around, went to the kitchen and made a sandwich for himself. I think this is okay because we're still talking. It was we had a light atmosphere there and we were able to discuss everything, but this was just something strange for me, that during the conversation the customer just turns around and goes to make a sandwich.
What's the most annoying thing about working with clients?
The most annoying thing is when the emotions are coming out and you are showing something which should not be showed because this is not related to the project or to the job itself.
What's the most common question your customers ask you?
Aside from the question about the hourly rates, the project scope, and etc., the most commonly asked question is whether Amasty is ready to split the costs for the customization.
Is it difficult to convince customers to do what you need and not what they originally planned?
Yes, this is pretty hard, but I would not say that we do this in the exact way that we're pushing the position, our position, which is not what customer needs. I'd say that pretty common situation is when the customer, let's say he's a business owner and he's not a technical guy, so he has his own understanding of things and how Magento works, and sometimes it's hard to explain everything in detail and convince that some approach should be used, even though this is, let's say, this takes more time or this costs more. But because the specifics of Magento or of our own experience or recommendations on how this can pay off in the future, so this kind of conversation happen a lot, and usually the hardest part is to combine all the recommendations and thoughts and put them together and to present them in such a way so that the customer would understand it perfectly and accept it. So this is hard to compile the full list in an understandable way, but this happens a lot, so we're used to it.
Have there been such sudden situations in meetings with clients when it was difficult to contain emotions?
Yeah, definitely yes. As I've mentioned before, the most annoying thing is holding your emotions, but I guess the hardest situations are when there is kind of miscommunication between you and the other person, and you're trying to explain something and you're trying to put your sentences differently, to put different words in it in order to make the opposite side understand you. And it is hard to hold your emotions when the opposite side is just repeating the same words without changing anything, and this just kind of stops the conversation, and there's just some points where it is really hard to do something.
How much should the project cost, or what should it be about, so that you immediately say, okay, let's do it, even without looking at the details?
So the short answer is I don't think that any price would make me accept the project without looking into its technical details or scope, except for the cases where the customer understands that the scope is new for us, for example.
Have you ever had a client wake you up at night?
Yeah, this actually happened, and happened many times. And one funny case was when a customer was based in the United States, and he knew about our time zone. He knew about the huge differences between our regions, but still, he was such type of client that he was calling me at night regularly each week on Thursday or Friday, requesting me the project status. But this was, I believe, due to some local meetings that he had with his management. So I just get used to it, and I was ready to reply whenever he called me. So yeah, this kind of case happened.